it's such a beautiful day. Day after Christmas here. 2 days after Christmas, mind you. And it's just so nice out here. Every time I walk out in the driveway and see this car sitting here, it makes me happy. Yes, boys, that's right. We finally got it back. Came back from the alignment shop. We had some trouble. If you guys saw the shorts and you saw the couple of shorter videos that we uploaded that weren't shorts, and the questions, and thanks again to all you guys who have reached out and gave me some suggestions on this whole thing. We had a fitment issue right in here. This wheel was really far back. Same on the other side. And I'm using the Godspeed A026 and A027 rear forward and rearward lower control arms on this thing, along with some fresh stock uppers, and they didn't line up quite right, and that was partially because of my installation job. I didn't match them up close enough to stock, and I did leave the adjustments on the inside of the joint instead of closer to the outside of the joint, where the shop would be able to just, you know, unscrew a nut and extend the rods in or out or whatever. So we went over, we fixed it. I think it's time to see if this thing will fire up. It's been sitting here for a few days. It's 2 days after Christmas, like I said. I got this patchwork all knocked out. Passenger side has a gaping hole in the body right now. I just got to put some sheet metal in it. No worries. The Bondo's all taken care of on this side. It's just too cold and too dirty and too wet to spray. So we're either going to get into a shop and finish the body work and slap our freshly painted side skirts on, or we're going to wait till we get some nice weather. God, getting into the driver's side of this thing and looking down and not having a side skirt right here in the way. Oh, feels kind of weird. Oh yeah, not to mention, I didn't decide, my back decided it wanted to go out about a week ago. So I've been hobbling like a crazy person. All right, we're in neutral, e-brake's on. Let's see what happens. Come on, baby. Oh, she is alive. Shut the heater off. All right, fired up. That was stressful for a second there. You could hear it struggling. She's got a little stink to her right now. The gas is from September, October, November, and it's the end of December. So basically 4 months to 4.5 months it's been sitting here with fuel from the summertime. Yeah, when I drove it over here the other day, I had the computer plugged in right here, and I was monitoring ECM Link, and she was about 10 to 12% lean. And I'm just assuming that that's because I didn't do any tuning adjustments on it at all since the summertime, when we were in like the peak heat season, when I found the cracks in the subframe and had to go on the hunt for the parts. So we're gonna have to fire up ECM Link and probably make a couple of adjustments here, but I'm gonna let this thing warm up for a few minutes. We have let's see, good oil pressure, good RPM signal, the wideband sitting where it needs to sit. Fuel, we're pretty low. It's probably a lot of moisture in that tank, so we're not gonna be able to have too much fun with it until we put some dry gas in and then some fresh 93. It's definitely cold still. It gets this weird thing going on lately. I think because when I stopped the car, it was all tuned for summertime and the heat and all that, and now it's down in the 20s and the air is really, really cold and dense. I feel like it's probably getting a lot more air because it's denser and it needs a little bit more fuel for the idle cells, so I'm gonna have to adjust those in my SD table. I'm so happy to have it back. I've missed this car so much. I'm gonna let it warm up and get the crap off the brakes that's on them. You can see the surface rust kind of starting to grow on these. These are all brand new rotors too. New calipers in the rear, 1-year-old calipers in the front with rotors from the beginning of the summer. Not very old, stuff's all less than a year old, so I don't know. We're gonna let it warm up for a few more minutes, guys. We're gonna go for a drive, and let's get ECM Link plugged in real fast. We got Link plugged in and running right now. Let's see, zoom you guys in a little bit. You can see, yeah, we're wideband factors at 10 to 15% fluctuating. Combined fuel trim is at about 4 to 5%. I usually don't worry about these numbers too much until it hits full operating temperature. And oh, she is so dirty in here. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that kind of. The needle's starting to climb. We're getting someplace, boys. So I'm gonna let this thing warm up for a couple of minutes, and we'll see where it ends up. All right, so the temp is up. We got the heat cracked just a little bit to try to warm it up in here, and I haven't changed anything for the fueling right now. And as it warmed up, you can see how everything is kind of interpolated here. It's kind of oscillating between itself. The blue line is boost. I just ignore that. The other blue line that we're seeing is the raw in wideband. We're not going to worry about that. Let me shut that off. And then I like to right click here, and I like to set all default preferences at this, so I can see the knock, the wideband factor, the air fuel ratio estimate. I like to see my boost, and that's as far as I usually go with just my on-the-fly driving setup. I still have all my other parameters, but I don't need to see the lines. If I get knock, it's a thick red line, so it pops right up right away. And also, this won't be a problem here in the next couple of months. We're going to be doing some interior stuff in here also. This old head unit's going to come out, and we're going to take and get rid of the laptop too. We're going to install a micro USB to USB-A adapter and hook up a Windows tablet right in here so that we can have ECM Link run off our tablet finally, and I'll show you guys how to do that whole thing. It's going to be real fun. Shout out to Jason Drew, because he's the one that gave me the idea for this, and a couple other people have adopted it after him. I don't know if somebody else did it before him, but I know Jason Drew and his nasty GSX, that's the one that I saw first do it. So I want to give him credit for sure. If you guys don't know who Jason Drew is, search his name on YouTube. He's got one of the sickest, cleanest GSXs out there. I believe he's a Canadian boy, so he's up there, up a little bit further north than us, but those guys up there, I saw a couple of really good videos taking a GST, turning it into a GSX. I think it was for his brother or his brother-in-law. I want to say it was his brother. But anyways, he posts a lot of really cool content. He's been around, one of my OG guys that I watched when I started watching Jaffro and all that. And then you got Scott Laird, all those guys. You guys probably know who I'm talking about. But anyways, ECM Link is kind of leveled out right now. It looks a lot better. It doesn't look so all over the place. The fueling is plus or minus 5%, maybe tickle 6% on wideband factor, but we're just idling right now. I'm going to get a driving log real fast, and we're going to just keep an eye on things for a few minutes and see what happens. Oh yeah, she feels good. Gotta take it easy on these roads. Pretty quick to 30 miles an hour, I guess. Old bad fuel from freaking months ago. Still feels fine. Yeah, I can hear that wheel bearing back there. I think the noise just happens. Yeah, the noise happens pretty low. It's down low. When I slow down a little bit, you can hear it. And I feel like I heard this before when I was driving it, before I parked it. I'm gonna guess I need a wheel bearing, guys. It's unfortunate, but I'd rather do it than listen to it whine anymore. It's kind of an annoying sound to hear. But all right, let's head back to the house and park this thing. I'm very happy with that maiden voyage. It wasn't very long, but she stayed up to temp. It didn't get too hot. Fans kicked on. Fueling looks all right. I guess we'll see where we go from here. Boys, we've got our log here, and I'll try to keep nice and steady while I go through this a little bit. And I just wanted to see what it did, if it went higher boost than it should. It should be set to about 17 pounds. And I did get a little blip of knock. It looks like 0.7 degrees, less than a degree of knock. Yeah, it drops off to 0.4. I'm not worried about that, but our max boost was not very much, 16.8, and then it dropped right back off. All right, that's awesome. So here you can see the fueling when it starts to build up. Let me zoom in a little more. The two purple lines should be basically sitting on top of each other, your wideband and your AFR estimate. They should be sitting on top of each other when you're hitting the gas. And you can see once it starts to build boost right there, there's a little spike at the top of that upper purple line. That is at, let's see, 12.5% lean. So I need to add a little bit of fuel for the tip in as it builds, and then it stays around 12% all the way down towards the bottom when I start getting a little lighter on the throttle. And yeah, I gotta fix that. 0.7 degrees of knock. I'm guessing that it's probably crappy fuel that's in there causing that, and the lack of richness there. It's a little lean, but anyways, it's not any insane amount of knock. It's not, 5 degrees or 10 degrees or anything like that. It's 0.7. I still like to tune it out. That's just my personal thing. And I know some guys like to run them, under 5 degrees, you're all right for the most part. I don't know. I'm not comfortable with that. Again, very modest boost right now because we're just messing around with it for the first time. Okay, we hit 18.2 right there. So 18 pounds, that's where it's supposed to stop. And that was, where are we at? TPS, yeah, 30 to 50% throttle, and it hit 18 pounds. And yeah, all right, that wasn't bad. It felt smooth. It didn't stutter or putter or do anything weird. It was fun to mess around with and drive it around for a little bit. Like I said before, this thing's, let me zoom you out a little. She's been sitting here for 4 months, guys, just waiting and waiting and waiting. I didn't see anything crazy in the logs. The temp got up to 206, the fans kicked on, then it dropped right back down. Did that a couple of times while I was out. It was only out for probably 15, 20 minutes. But she's alive. It works. I am super happy with that. I'm going to mess around with some more stuff. Obviously, there's a lot more work that we have to do on here. We're going to get rid of this little mount thing that I slapped up here temporarily that kind of lived there for a while. I want to get some gauges, some pods rather, to go in these two vents right here so I can put my boost and my wideband right up in here. We're going to have our tablet sit right here and have all of our ECM Link stuff be controlled through it. Windows tablets can do it. I'm going to do a full write-up. I'll link all the parts in the description in that video, but it was one of the coolest things I saw. You don't have to lug around a laptop anymore. You have, you know, a relatively inexpensive Windows tablet sitting right here, and you can live stream your data and basically do everything that you can do on your laptop with Link right here in the dashboard. And then you can go a little step further if you want and, you know, attach a Bluetooth driver to it and have your speakers run through it and put your CarPlay on it, all that fun stuff. But I don't know how far I'm going to go. I just want Link in my dash, and I want it to be able to play songs from my phone. So I want to be able to cast to my tablet and have it played through the car, answer calls. I'm gonna have to get a microphone, all that fun stuff. Well, boys, the maiden voyage is done. It drove great. I think, like I said multiple times now, I really do think I have a bad wheel bearing right here, which kind of sucks because I just took everything apart and just got it all put back together and aligned and all that, and I'm gonna have to tear a wheel bearing out of it. Whatever, I guess there's worse things out in the world. The other thing I got to get is the dust shields for these back wheels, because the dust shields are pretty much Swiss cheesed on this thing. I got brakes, I got shoes, I got, you know, calipers and pads and all that stuff. I just have not been able to find the dust shields. I'm going to look around online. I think I saw them in a couple of spots on eBay and a couple other random parts dealers online. If I can get them when I go ahead and replace the wheel bearing, I'll swap those backing plates out also, and I guess we'll just go from there. But she's alive, back and roadworthy. Still have to do a ton of work. Got to get this thing to the car wash ASAP. Maybe I'll bring a bucket of hot water out and give her the old rinse down. But there's so much left to do, guys. It's been fun getting it back together. You know, broken subframes usually kill cars. People send them off to the scrapyard when they're old like this, or don't put the time in it, or it costs so much money at the shop to get it fixed that they just don't want to deal with it. So we actually went through and did a whole hell of a lot more stuff aside from just doing a rear subframe swap. Refurbished the diff, all that fun. You guys go check the videos out if you guys haven't seen them. They're probably the last 5 or 6 uploads is just pertaining to rear end and painting and fixing rust spots. So hopefully you guys enjoy this little update video, and hopefully you like the last one where we repaired some of the rot on the driver's side here, which looks fantastic. I'm going to be getting back into that very, very soon. But anyways, guys, stay tuned. We're going to have some more stuff knocked out and get some more projects rolling. Winter or not, the new year's coming, 2023. We're going to get real serious with this thing now that we don't have, you know, big rot chunks in the back, and it's pretty solid again. So, all right, guys, that's it. I'll see you next time. Take care.